I just want to run you through this list of things to check before you panic about your emails not working. It's just a way that you can kind of go through, self-diagnose, see where the problems are, and then come to us if you're still having issues. The first thing to do is kind of, well, what you're looking for is no responses. We get roughly 1,000, if we send 1,000 emails, we get one response. That's 1,000 emails sent, so that's 250 unique contacts. Doesn't necessarily mean it's an even split, but more than likely it's an even split across them. Hello, my name is Daniel Spence and I run Automation X, which is an automation agency that builds really cool automations and lead generation. So first thing to check is, have you sent at least 2,000 emails? Because within 2,000 emails and all 4 stages, you should get a reply. If yes, then move to step 2. If no, if you've still not got anything, are there actually leads in the campaign? Have you even sent that 2,000 because there's not enough emails? And then if that still doesn't work, then are your emails sending? Like, are the accounts connected up correctly? Is the warm-up going on? What's your sending limit? So we cap all of ours at 30 per day per email. If you're doing it on Go High Level, it'll be slightly different. It's 100 per hour, I think. Yeah, 100 per hour on it. So just be very careful with not going over that. Lead quality check before you do any kind of copy changes. Are you emailing info at emails or catch-all? Kind of like, what's the quality of your leads? How high is your bounce rate? On instantly, it can pause your campaign if the bounce rate is too high, so be very aware of that. Are all emails verified? Are you actually emailing real verified emails, or are you using kind of one of the other tools that then means that they're not actually email verified and you're not actually getting the right people? Is the database fresh and targeted? So if you're using Apollo, we've noticed a lower response rate on that because the leads have been contacted so many times. So being able to avoid that is kind of key for making sure that these people aren't being bombarded with cold emails every minute of every day, so you can still actually get a good response off them. And also, is it fresh? If we also found that if we're using Apollo database or any of those other ones, their data can be up to 7 years out of date, which means that we were getting loads of people saying, oh, I no longer work at this company. We even had a couple of people email back being like, this email is no longer in use because this person's died. So just be aware that kind of this is an element of it. Make sure that they are fresh and targeted leads. And then the other thing is kind of like, are you actually contacting the decision maker? Like, is the person you're actually contacting got any sway in whether or not you'd be able to help them and what that looks like? If not, then that's probably why they're not responding to you. Follow me for loads more tips. Okay, and then inbox placement. So if all of these are completely fine, you've contacting the right people, everything's set up, do a inbox placement. We use Instantly. There are other ones out there. We found that Instantly is actually fairly accurate according to all of the people we've spoken to, or at least it is at the time of recording this. It's fairly unbiased and okay. So the problem with using any of the other providers, I would still go and do a test on all of them because they're free, but have a look at where you land in the inbox, because they're kind of just another layer. But just be aware that they are trying to sell you warming services. So if your email lands in spam, they've got a product to sell you. If it lands in the inbox, they haven't got anything to sell you. So just be aware of that. I don't know how true that is. I might just be lying, but we will see. So if not, the likelihood is kind of, if we're getting delivered to Gmail, then you're fine, carry on. If you're not getting delivered to Gmail, then it comes under the infrastructure issue. So this can be how the emails are actually set up. So if you're using Google or Microsoft, you need to make sure that these emails are set up correctly and using the right things and pointing in the right directions and everything. If so, then kind of like keep going down. But also, is the domain aged or is it a brand new domain? It should be at least 2 weeks old because you've done the warming anyway. This isn't taking into consideration that your setup's been done properly. If you're jumping straight on and you haven't warmed the emails up, then that will be the reason. If you've sorted all of that and it's fine, then have a look at Microsoft at the same time. So Microsoft is at the moment very heavy on the actual copy. So it's not actually an issue to do with your email setup. They're less bothered about the email setup, more bothered about the copy. If neither gets delivered, then it could be a bit of both. More than likely it's a bit of both, or it could be one of these other problems. But normally if it's copy related, then you will not get in Microsoft's inbox. If it's kind of the infrastructure and problems with your email, you won't get into Gmail. If you don't get into both, it could just be an issue with both, or you're on a blacklist or something else like that. So in order to fix that, it's a copy issue, so run it through one of the tools like Mail Meteor to clean it out and make sure that it is actually all correct and done. If you're getting to this point, then there is probably something up with your copy. If all of this is fine up to here, chances are it's the copy. Is it too generic? Are you syntaxing correctly? Like, is the format for your syntax correct? People tend to email back and give you snarky comments if you're doing it wrong and it doesn't look right, but make sure that's working right. Make sure all of your tags are right. Make sure the personalization elements are right. Is the kind of industry copy, company name and everything in the right place? Are you even addressing pain points? I would have a look at changing the offer and try it with a really, really strong offer, just to see how that does in comparison. Follow me for loads more tips. You want a clear call to action. Are you actually asking people to reply, or are you just kind of telling them stuff and then kind of leaving them in the void of like, okay, well now what? Are you including tangible outcomes? Is there a risk reversal element? Don't get me wrong, these aren't all 1000% necessary, but if you got to this point and your emails aren't working and everything above is perfectly fine, try it. Just test it on an A/B test and see how it does in comparison. So another thing to look at is whether or not your follow-ups are even being sent. So we've had it set up before where the new emails have priority over follow-ups, which means none of the follow-ups got sent out for weeks, and then all of the follow-ups get sent out, but it's chasing an email that instead of chasing it after 2 days, you're chasing it after 25 days once you've teared through all of the new leads. So is that set up right? Are you sending them too fast or too slow? So are you leaving like a day gap in between? We had one that was 0 gap at one point because one of the VAs made a mistake. But it wasn't working because they were literally being bombarded with emails like the same afternoon, being like, "Oh, did you get this?" And it's like, it's not really professional. Sequence lengths, medium steps, or like versus one-off. So it's kind of like, are you doing it? Is your emails too long? You should be using 4 steps because that's where we found the sweet spot on. If you're doing more than that, that could be a problem. If you're doing less than that, that could be a problem. Subject lines, that's another big one. And in fact, just the whole fact of like, are you actually even running an A/B test? Crucial to make sure this is right. And then timing and scheduling, another one that a lot of people fall down on, which is mostly instantly's fault, is are you sending in the right time zone? Instantly immediately puts you in the US time zone. If you're targeting US, UK, Australia all at once, then it's kind of, you need to be aware that your emails will be going to someone at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's just, it's how it's going to work. You're going to end up with people receiving the email. So can you split it up into 3 campaigns? Say your emails are sent on their local time zone. So much you can do on that. Follow me for loads more tips. And then another very simple thing, the deliverability hygiene. Are you avoiding spammy words like free guarantee? If you use Mail Meteor, which is what I'd recommend, or any of these other tools, you can have a look at kind of what words are coming up in your copy that are causing the spam filter. You should have checked this anyway, but if you get into this point, then have a look at that. And kind of another note, if you've got this far, is don't actually worry until you've sent 2,000 plus emails and got absolutely no responses. That should be at least 500 individual people contacted. And just like do a bit more volume. Even if you get one reply every 4,000 people, it's much easier to find more people to contact than to fix whichever small issue out of this whole entire thing is causing the problem. So don't panic, just get on with it. If you've got any questions, if you've been through this whole entire list and you're still struggling, let me know. The main thing to kind of have a look at is the personalization and the copy, like making sure your copy is right, because there is a big element of that. But if you are landing on the inbox, which is normally this part that's causing that problem, then you should be getting some responses anyway, unless your copy is absolutely terrible. So I hope that helps. Any questions, as always, just let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe.